What happens when one of hip-hop's longest-running rivalries suddenly collides with one of the biggest stories in the music industry? For years, 50 Cent has openly criticized Sean Diddy Combs, often using social media, interviews, and public appearances to question his rival's image and influence. Now, as legal proceedings involving Diddy continue to dominate headlines, fans are revisiting years of comments, old interviews, and past relationships, including discussions online about Burna Boy's connections within the music industry. Across social media, countless videos and posts claim they've uncovered the real story. But how much of what's circulating is actually supported by public reporting, and how much is speculation that has spread online? That's exactly what we are breaking down today. In this video, we'll look at 50 Cent's public statements, the timeline of his long-running feud with Diddy, publicly reported information about Burna Boy's career and industry connections, and why these conversations have exploded across the internet. We'll separate confirmed facts from online rumors and examine why this story continues to capture millions of views. Stay until the end, because one overlooked timeline detail has left fans debating whether years of public comments are being viewed in a completely new light. Long before Sean Diddy Combs became the focus of major legal headlines, one celebrity seemed determined to keep criticizing him in public: 50 Cent. For years, what many people dismissed as trolling, jokes, or personal rivalry has become the subject of renewed attention as fans revisit old interviews, social media posts, and public exchanges. The rivalry between the two hip-hop stars didn't begin overnight. Over the years, 50 Cent repeatedly made fun of Diddy online, questioned his public image, and suggested that he preferred to keep his distance from certain industry circles. At the time, many fans viewed those comments as typical entertainment industry drama. Others believed it was simply another chapter in rap's long history of public feuds. Then everything changed. As investigations and lawsuits involving Diddy began attracting worldwide attention, social media users started digging through years of old clips. Videos that once received little attention suddenly began circulating again, collecting millions of views as audiences searched for context behind comments that had previously been overlooked. Among the names appearing in online discussions was Burna Boy. The Grammy-winning Nigerian artist had already built a successful international career through his music, collaborations, and sold-out tours. His rise to global fame made him one of Africa's biggest musical exports, earning respect from fans and artists around the world. Because Burna Boy and Diddy had appeared together publicly and worked within overlapping music circles, some online commentators began connecting unrelated events and creating broader theories. However, much of that discussion has been driven by speculation rather than verified evidence. Public appearances or professional relationships alone do not establish wrongdoing or support broader claims. Still, the internet moved quickly. Reaction channels, podcasts, and social media pages began revisiting years of interviews involving 50 Cent. Supporters argued that some of his comments now seemed more significant in light of current events. Others cautioned against interpreting old jokes or rivalries as proof of later allegations, noting that context matters, and that ongoing legal matters should be understood through official reporting rather than internet speculation. This is one reason the story has attracted so much attention. It combines celebrity rivalry, music industry history, and a rapidly evolving news cycle. Whenever those elements come together, online discussions tend to grow far beyond the available facts. Another reason for the renewed interest is 50 Cent's public presence. He has continued commenting on major entertainment stories through interviews and social media, often using humor and satire. Those posts frequently generate headlines of their own, adding another layer to an already highly discussed topic. As audiences continue revisiting years of public statements, one important question remains: how much of what is circulating online reflects verified information, and how much has been shaped by speculation and hindsight? In the next part, we'll examine how public reporting, legal developments, and social media reactions combined to transform an old celebrity feud into one of the most widely discussed entertainment stories of recent years, and why separating facts from online theories has become more important than ever. As more headlines surrounding Sean Diddy Combs appeared, something unexpected happened. Millions of people didn't just focus on the latest developments, they began searching years into the past. Old interviews resurfaced. Archived podcast clips started trending again. Social media users reposted forgotten videos, asking whether comments made years earlier should now be viewed differently. One person whose past remarks received renewed attention was 50 Cent. For years, he publicly joked about Diddy, often posting memes and sarcastic comments that generated headlines across entertainment media. At the time, many fans dismissed the back and forth as celebrity trolling or another chapter in hip-hop's long history of public rivalries. But as public reporting about Diddy's legal situation expanded, audiences started revisiting those older comments with fresh eyes. That doesn't mean those earlier jokes prove later allegations. Public commentary and hindsight are not the same as evidence. Still, the renewed attention helped fuel a wave of online discussion, with fans debating whether 50 Cent had simply been mocking a rival, or whether people were now interpreting his remarks differently because of current events. Around the same time, Burna Boy's name also began appearing in online conversations. The Grammy-winning artist had collaborated with major figures in the music industry and built an international career that stretched far beyond Africa. Because of those professional connections, some social media users began linking him to broader discussions surrounding the industry. However, it's important to distinguish between public association and verified facts. Being photographed together, attending the same events, or working within the same industry does not establish involvement in another person's alleged misconduct. Much of the online speculation went well beyond what had been publicly reported. That distinction often disappears once stories begin trending. Algorithms reward emotionally charged content. A dramatic headline can spread across multiple platforms within hours, encouraging reaction videos, commentary channels, and endless online debates. As different creators repeated similar claims, many viewers found it increasingly difficult to separate verified reporting from internet theories. Entertainment journalists have repeatedly noted that this pattern is common whenever a high-profile celebrity story dominates headlines. Old videos, past interviews, and unrelated events are frequently revisited and reinterpreted through the lens of new developments. Meanwhile, 50 Cent continued attracting attention through his own public posts and commentary. His reactions often became news stories themselves, keeping the long-running rivalry in the spotlight while audiences debated the meaning behind his statements. For Burna Boy, the situation illustrated another reality of modern celebrity culture. When major stories capture worldwide attention, even indirect industry relationships can become the subject of widespread online speculation. That doesn't automatically make every theory accurate, but it does explain why so many names become connected in public conversations. As interest continued to grow, another question emerged. Why were so many old interviews suddenly going viral after sitting largely unnoticed for years? Was it simply the power of social media algorithms, or were audiences searching for context to understand one of the entertainment industry's biggest stories? In the next part, we'll explore how the media, online creators, and public reaction transformed this story into a global conversation, and why understanding the difference between verified reporting and viral speculation remains essential whenever major celebrity news breaks. As the online conversation continued to grow, the focus slowly shifted away from individual personalities and toward a broader question that has followed the music business for decades. How much control do powerful executives really have over an artist's career? This wasn't a new debate. Long before today's headlines, many successful musicians had spoken publicly about difficult contracts, ownership disputes, creative disagreements, and the pressure that can come with navigating the entertainment industry. Some artists have described feeling restricted by business arrangements, while others have praised experienced executives for helping launch global careers. Every situation is different, and broad conclusions can't be drawn from one relationship alone. That wider context is one reason Burna Boy's name appeared so often in online discussions. By the time he became a global superstar, he had already built a strong international reputation through chart-topping albums, sold-out tours, and award-winning performances. His success represented years of work, strategic collaborations, and growing worldwide recognition. As public attention intensified around Diddy's legal situation, some social media users began revisiting past photos, collaborations, and public appearances involving various artists, including Burna Boy. From there, theories spread rapidly across YouTube, TikTok, X, and Instagram, with creators offering very different interpretations of the same material. Some videos suggested hidden meanings behind ordinary industry relationships. Others argued those conclusions went far beyond the available evidence. Entertainment reporters have consistently cautioned that appearing alongside someone at public events or working in overlapping professional circles does not, by itself, establish knowledge of or involvement in another person's alleged conduct. In industries like music, film, and television, collaborations between artists and executives are common. Still, the public fascination continued to grow. Part of that interest comes from the mystery surrounding the music business itself. Fans rarely see contract negotiations, management decisions, or behind-the-scenes strategy. Because so much happens privately, speculation often fills the gaps left by limited public information. At the same time, 50 Cent remained one of the loudest public voices commenting on developments involving Diddy. Through interviews and social media, he continued sharing opinions, often using humor and satire that quickly generated headlines. Supporters viewed his posts as sharp commentary, while critics argued they reflected an ongoing personal rivalry. Whatever people's opinions, one fact became difficult to ignore: every new post, interview, or public appearance generated millions of views and reignited discussion across entertainment media. The story also highlighted how quickly narratives can evolve online. A clip recorded years earlier can suddenly trend worldwide after new events change the public's perspective. Viewers naturally begin looking backward, searching for context that may, or may not, help explain present-day headlines. As that process unfolded, audiences were left asking bigger questions than before. How much influence do industry leaders actually have? How should fans distinguish between verified reporting and internet speculation? And why do some celebrity stories continue dominating public conversation long after the first headlines appear? Those questions have become central to the ongoing debate. In the next part, we'll examine how media coverage, public reaction, and the legal process continue to shape this story, and why many observers believe the final chapter has yet to be written. As the legal proceedings surrounding Sean Diddy Combs continued to unfold, the conversation moved far beyond the music industry. What had once been viewed primarily as celebrity news evolved into a major public story followed by fans, journalists, legal analysts, and entertainment commentators around the world. Every new court filing, every public statement, and every official development generated immediate reactions online. Within minutes, clips appeared across social media, podcast hosts began offering their opinions, and YouTube creators published countless videos attempting to explain what each new update might mean. At the same time, audiences became increasingly interested in the difference between allegations, legal arguments, and proven facts. Legal experts repeatedly reminded the public that lawsuits and criminal proceedings involve formal processes, and that claims presented by either side must ultimately be evaluated through the justice system rather than through social media discussions. That distinction, however, often became blurred online. As hashtags trended and reaction videos multiplied, many viewers found themselves navigating a mix of verified reporting, opinion pieces, and speculation. Some creators focused on official court documents, while others built dramatic theories that went far beyond what had actually been reported. Against that backdrop, 50 Cent continued to attract attention with his public commentary. His posts frequently became entertainment headlines of their own, demonstrating how quickly celebrity reactions can become part of a much larger news cycle. Supporters viewed his commentary as characteristic of his outspoken public persona, while critics argued that social media exchanges can sometimes distract from the underlying legal issues. Meanwhile, Burna Boy remained a frequent subject of online discussion, despite the absence of verified evidence connecting him to many of the broader theories circulating on the internet. His name often appeared because of previous industry relationships and public appearances, illustrating how major entertainment stories can pull numerous public figures into conversations regardless of their actual involvement. Entertainment analysts have observed that this pattern is increasingly common in the digital age. Once a high-profile story captures worldwide attention, audiences begin revisiting old interviews, photographs, collaborations, and public appearances, searching for connections that may or may not exist. While some discoveries provide useful context, others simply reflect the internet's tendency to connect unrelated events. For fans, the challenge is separating information supported by official reporting from content created primarily to generate clicks and engagement. As the volume of online material grows, understanding the original sources becomes more important than ever. Despite the intense public interest, the legal process continues independently of online opinion. Court proceedings move according to evidence, legal arguments, and judicial decisions rather than viral posts or trending hashtags. That reality serves as an important reminder that public discussion and legal outcomes are not always the same. Still, the broader impact of the story is already visible. Conversations about accountability, influence, and transparency within the entertainment industry have become more prominent, encouraging renewed attention to how artists, executives, and media organizations operate. As the story continues to develop, many questions remain unanswered, and further official updates may shape public understanding in the months ahead. Whatever the eventual outcome, this situation has already demonstrated how quickly celebrity news can evolve into a global conversation that extends far beyond music. In the final part, we'll look at the lasting impact this story may have on the entertainment industry, why audiences continue to follow every new development so closely, and what lessons both artists and fans can take from one of the most closely watched celebrity stories of recent years. As the headlines continue to evolve, one thing has become increasingly clear: this story is no longer just about one artist or one executive. It has sparked a much broader conversation about transparency, accountability, and the balance of power within the entertainment industry. For years, fans have admired the glamour of the music business, the sold-out arenas, chart-topping albums, luxury lifestyles, and global fame. But alongside that success, many artists have also spoken publicly about the challenges of navigating contracts, protecting creative control, and building long-term careers in a highly competitive environment. Those conversations have gained renewed attention as audiences look more closely at how the industry operates behind the scenes. At the same time, the public response has demonstrated how dramatically social media can influence the way major stories unfold. Within minutes of a breaking development, millions of people are sharing clips, reacting to headlines, and offering opinions. That speed has created unprecedented access to information, but it has also increased the importance of distinguishing between verified reporting, personal commentary, and speculation. The renewed attention surrounding 50 Cent's public remarks shows how past interviews and social media posts can take on new significance when viewed through the lens of later events. Fans naturally revisit earlier comments, searching for context, while journalists and commentators continue examining publicly available information. However, looking back at older statements should not be confused with proving later allegations or drawing conclusions that are unsupported by evidence. The same principle applies to Burna Boy. As one of Africa's most successful global artists, his career has been built through years of performances, collaborations, and international recognition. While his name has appeared in various online discussions, much of what circulates on social media reflects public speculation rather than verified reporting. Public associations alone are not evidence of wrongdoing or involvement in another person's alleged conduct. Looking ahead, many entertainment observers believe this period may encourage broader conversations about artist protection, business transparency, and responsible media coverage. Whether those conversations lead to lasting changes remains to be seen, but they have already prompted many fans to think more critically about how celebrity stories are reported and shared online. For audiences, perhaps the most valuable lesson is the importance of evaluating information carefully. Viral headlines can spread quickly, but verified facts often emerge through official reporting, court proceedings, and credible journalism over time. Separating those sources from internet speculation helps create a clearer understanding of complex stories. Whatever the final outcome of the ongoing legal matters, this story has already become one of the most closely followed entertainment developments in recent years. It has reshaped public conversations about celebrity influence, media responsibility, and the relationship between public perception and legal process. As new official updates become available, the picture may continue to change. Until then, the discussion remains active, with journalists, legal analysts, artists, and fans all watching closely to see what comes next. If you found this breakdown informative, be sure to like this video, subscribe for more entertainment news and analysis, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. We also want to hear from you. How do you think social media has changed the way major celebrity stories are understood? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Before you go, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think social media has changed the way people view celebrity stories? Or should everyone wait for verified facts before reaching conclusions? Share your opinion respectfully in the comments below. We read as many of your comments as we can. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth coverage of the biggest stories in music, entertainment, and celebrity news, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next upload. We are following every major development, separating verified reporting from online speculation, and bringing you the latest updates as they happen. Thanks for watching, thanks for your support, and we'll see you in the next video.